cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers. My voice is a little worse for wear. Oh man. Do I always sound like this? We are having
so much fun here in Miami, and going to that football Dolphins Jaguars game was so enjoyable. What a beautiful stadium, and being there with all you guys, and getting to sit wherever we'd like, because there were a lot of people there, was so enjoyable. And now getting to cap this card with you guys once more is such a treat. Went 3-1 in MLB yesterday, plus 2.07 units on the week of Miami. I'm 16-12 in MLB, plus 4.51 units overall yesterday, including NFL and WNBA, 6-3 plus 2.97 units. And the late show editions, unlike when I'm working down alone, are strong. They're strong. And when I'm alone, my late show editions are weak and set me back. But that's not happening working with you guys. I am so excited to be here. Thank you for all the guys in the chat. Vinny Cornell, Derek Tucker, Ty Clinton, Shadow, Pink Eye Genie, Brad Hansen. We got Zook, Armin, Rod Zawacki, Comic Ricky. What a great group. Red Girl says, hi, Drew. Sorry I didn't see you last night. We finally got to meet Red Girl.
Did you really?
Oh, it was wonderful.
She's a real person.
Yeah.
A real human being.
It was so
she
wonderful.
Breathes oxygen too, yeah.
So wonderful to meet her. So wonderful to hang with. There's Juan Juarez in the house. Jared Schrader, Paco Healy, Andy Harris, Neil Frank, Gerald Martinez, Brooke Jordan, EJV, Mr. Jocelyn, Breeds Beats. Nice. Has anyone on watching this morning? We're going to get to that very, very soon. Liberty Finder. Julian Pulido says, World Oakland in the house. That was so easy, and we were all on Oakland yesterday. That was wonderful. It was wonderful. Comic Ricky says, haven't had a drink since coming home from Miami. I get it. I get it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Skee, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. We had a great night. It was fun hanging with everybody. I'm just hoping to keep it going.
Yes, I'm hoping to keep it going too. I'm hoping my voice sticks around. Drew Martin, how you doing, man?
Good, Jimmy. The game was a lot of fun last night. You know, getting up this morning was a little difficult, but I'm excited about tonight and the Marlins game as well as finding some winners on today's card, man.
Yes. And Mr. Johnson on Florida, first half -4. I'm looking forward to break that down. Brooke Jordan said, Jim, what's wrong with your voice? I don't know. I think I've just been drinking all week and not sleeping enough. Juan Juarez says, thank you, Skee, for the WNBA pick. Skee Profit 4-0 yesterday on the show. Mac, how you doing, man?
Wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. You ready to pound this card?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Whale Capper, how much fun was that football game last night?
It was great, man. That was everything I had hoped for, and the fact that everybody got out there and had a great time was as best you can ask for. That was a great experience. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, very, very, very memorable experience. Parlay Papi, how you doing, man?
Cappers, everybody out there, let's inject some energy into this fucking show. Come on. It's the morning. We're a little hungover. It's time to make some silly, perhaps handicapping mistakes that you can correct us in the chat with. You tell us what we're doing wrong. You tell us which dogs we need to bet on, because apparently dogs are the way to go. But I think we had a consensus favorite winning all across the board over here. So you guys, love you all. Be in the chat. I will be there live, and I'm here.
Nice. Mr. Johnson says Poppy's already had 7 Red Bulls and 3 Monsters. And also, what's the Henry's beverage that you have there?
This is actually a sparkling spritzer with a blueberry lemon twist, sweetened with stevia, of course, naturally only, with a 4% alcohol content. We call it the hair of a dog in the Los Angeles area.
Oh man, that sounds awful. Ian Cameron, how you doing, my man?
Good. It was good. I mean, the football game I thought was a snore fest last night, but the excitement of being with you guys watching it was great. And looking forward to breaking down this card. You sound like James Franklin from Penn State last year, Poppy. You're getting the excuse machine ready to go, talking about you can correct our capping mistakes here this morning. Like when he's saying, oh, we're not Ohio State, we're not any of these teams. Hey, you're going to be fine. Trust me.
Right. I'm fine because I'm with the best squad of international cappers. Yeah. No mistakes, no regrets.
Oh, man. Yeah. And also, Babano's boy, Tim S., Lowbagger Tim S. from our chat. He dropped by the hotel, gave a bunch of guys rides over to the game, and max bet Dolphins live at the half. What a smart move when Rosen was going to be running the show there. That was such a great. So shout out to Tim S. who joined us. And they're asking, where's Big Boss? I'm looking at DJ Big Boss. He will be live on our late show. We got Dom Ricci, DJ Big Boss, Triple K Marine. We got Prince of the City. We got Nut Flush Allen in the house with his flask up in the air.
Yes.
Oh man, we're all the same. We're all the same here.
Jealous.
Okay, well, let's get right to work. We have the Nationals Cubs game starting off this card in the afternoon. Big game, two teams, very similar records. Cubs just one game behind the Nats, but Nats are going for the wild card. Cubs are going for that division. Anibal Sanchez, 7.6, 3.99 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. John Lester, 10-8, 4.23 ERA, 1.42 WHIP. Another day in Chicago where the wind is blowing in and blowing in strong. Sanchez, 4-game winless streak, be knocked around, 13 runs, 29 hits, 20 innings. Faced the Cubs 8 times in his career. 4-2, 3.30 ERA, 2-1, 3.86 ERA, 5 starts at Wrigley Field. Cubs just completed a 3-game sweep of the Giants. The Cubs are very, very dangerous at home, 44-19. And Lester is on the mound, only allowed 3 runs, 9 hits over his last 11 innings. He doesn't have very good numbers against the Nationals, but he's been looking very good lately. Earl DeCaney says Cubs under. Is there anybody on this panel that is making a move on this afternoon game or has an angle that they want to talk about?
I mean, honestly, I think the spot says Chicago, but I think there may be value on Washington on the road here. Honestly, I'm not going to be making a play, but the thing is, Lester is a guy hated by all advanced metrics, right? And when he's getting stuff done and he's actually winning these games, it's very hard to bet against these pitchers that we love to fade. There's, a 5 to 10 man roster that I have picked out to fade specifically every time because it doesn't add up. But at the same time, when they're winning, it's very tough to jump in front of them. And I think the Nationals do have value here, but I was very close to making a move in the fact that I just saw Lester do pretty well in his last outing. I decided not to. So that's my little 2 cents here.
The Cubbies opened a -150 at BetOnline. They're now -122, a 28-cent move towards the Washington Nationals in this spot. A lot of people backing the Nats. Comic Rick says, I have Nats. On Point Wagers, I love the Nats. Justin Bilbo liking the over. Drew Martin, are you making a move on this game?
Breaking John Lester down, especially his last 2 opponents, like you brought up, Jimmy, at Pittsburgh, at Cincinnati. The walks have been there, however. 8 walks for John Lester. That's something that I tend to kind of stay away in terms of betting on. So it is the Cubs at home, weather blowing in, kind of a lot of different variables here. But I'm not necessarily looking to bet on John Lester. So I'd actually look to fade the Cubs, but doubt I get involved.
The total opened at 8.5. It's still there at a couple books. Heritage is still hanging at 8.5. Bookmaker at 8.5. But the other books have all moved it down to 8. And we know that and Noli knows coming in says leaning under. Andy Harris saying Lester first 5 over. Whale Capper, have you looked at this morning game? Are you making any moves on it?
Yeah, I'm going back to the well for no runs scored in the first tier at -129. I make this fair price -140. I think the weather is a factor, as you mentioned, the wind blowing in. I do not like the top of the Cubs lineup, really. I don't know what they're doing with their 1, 2, 3 spots right now. They're obviously trying to figure stuff out. I mean, they've had uneven performances on offense all week. Some 12 runs, 1 run, 7-2. So, in general, I think this is another nice spot for a no run scored in the first at -129.
Mr. Jocelyn liking that take, saying that's a solid take. Is there some static going on that we're dealing with on the audio? Okay, look, there are a couple people saying that there's static issues. Mac, you making a move on this game?
I think I like the run line in this for the Nats. I know they're the 4th best team in the run line this year as per percentage. 72 and 55, 56%. They've won 56 games by 2 runs or more. I like that. I like that a lot. I think the Nationals, the Cubs bullpen is struggling. I think this will be a close game, and then it might get away from them late. That's just a simple, quick handicap on my part.
So at this point, I'm not making a move on this point. But if there hadn't been this giant move towards the Nationals, I would be on the Cubs. I just think at home right now, we're seeing them be like a juggernaut at home. But Bono, you making a move on this?
There's a lot of things to consider in this game. I guess for me, it would be a lean to Washington, a lean over the total. I mean, I'm not a big Sanchez guy, even though he's pitched better lately. Lester, you look at him against lefties. The Nationals have been very good against southpaws this season in terms of batting average, OPS, runs per game. So I think they can do damage. And let's not forget, 5 walks for Lester. in that last start against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that's not exactly a great lineup by any stretch of the imagination. Once he starts to have those command and control issues, it concerns me. We got bullpens on both sides that can sometimes be sketchy. Chicago, we know Washington's had the issues all year. Doesn't matter who they throw in there. We know Doolittle at the closer spot's just been a heart attack waiting to happen in the ninth inning of these games. So it might start off slow in terms of the runs, but I think it'll show up as it goes on. So Washington and over would be the way I'd go.
Washington and over. Skee, are you making any moves on this?
The way I look at this game, it would have to be a spot for the Cubs. Cubs at home, like you said, 39-15 as a home favorite. Washington 14-15 as a road. Maybe I have something mixed up as a road favorite, but Leicester 5-1 on full rest, 14-10, and Leicester starts. Cubs won 5 in a row. You want to ride the hot teams? I would have to go with the Cubs. I know on the total, Sanchez pitched a little better on the road, I believe, and like I said, I like Leicester and I like the Cubs at home. On the total, I would lean under with the wind blowing in too. So Cubs and under for me.
Yeah, I'm not making a move on this game, at least at this point. That is your afternoon game. Then we have a huge slate of night games. We want to talk about all of those. Joseph Gomez saying low baggers hydrating today. Yes, we are, Joseph Gomez, and we'll have to do more of that as we go.
Tripping, Jorge.
But man, we are having so much fun here, and we thank you guys. Those of you who put in all the effort to come down here, it means so much to us. And also those of you who are watching right now and thinking, how can we help betting with the bag? You can help by entering the 50K contest. The link is at the bottom of the page. 50K and free to enter. And we are all going to be in the contest, so there'll be a lot of bragging rights. We'll talk nonstop about that. Also, we are giving out another NFL Game Pass today. We'll have a pinned tweet under SBR Sports Picks. And this is what we're asking you, this question. You check out, hit the link and look at the best sportsbook page and tell us what the best sportsbook is in your estimation that's not in our top 7. What is the best sports book that's not in our top 7? And you will be eligible to win an NFL Game Pass. And yesterday's winner right there, Trot Wham, NFL Game Pass. Can't win today. And we have 3 SBR Pro memberships that we are giving out to the most valuable audience members throughout this week. So we're going to do that on the Late Show. All right, let's get it rolling. Babano, what's a spot on this card that has your attention?
I like Reds Pirates over the total. I don't like either of these starters. DeSclafani for the Reds. We've got for the Pirates Keller, not a guy I trust at all. But then you look at his recent starts, his form. I want an 8.86 ERA. On the season for Mitch Keller. Hasn't been good at all for him. It's just 2 starting pitchers I don't trust here in this matchup. The Reds and the Pirates, I think, just go over the total against 2 pitchers that I have a hard time trusting right now.
Yeah. I believe in Mitch Keller, and I think he's going to be a pitcher. I know that he wouldn't be here if they weren't dealing with so many injuries to their starting rotation. Does it concern you that this total has gone from 9.5 to 9?
No, it's just a better number. I actually really like it at 9, in fact. And you look at DeSclafani facing this Pittsburgh team this year, not been good. 8.1 ERA for him in a couple of starts against the Pirates. There's a lot of guys that have some pretty good numbers against him this season, including Josh Bell. So you've got a Pirate lineup with a track record against DeSclafani of some pretty good success. Mitch Keller is a guy that probably has a chance to get better over time. I just have yet to see it from him. He's been probably rushed into this rotation as of right now due to injury issues, and guys not ready to step up at this point in time. But he just hasn't shown he's ready yet. It's just, I think if you're betting on him or you're waiting for him to get better, I think you're just trying to buy in at a time when to get ahead of the curve, so to speak. But for me, I've got to see evidence of the guy pitching better, getting outs, and not giving up these big innings. And so far, we've yet to see that from Keller. So I think we'll see runs tonight in the Berg.
We know how bad the Pirates have been, 8-30 since the All-Star break. But I like them here. I like them here at home against this Reds team. Pittsburgh has won 7 straight games against Cincinnati at home, and Keller is someone I know that it was a tough spot there in that MLB Little League Classic. 6 runs, 4 1/3 to the Cubs. But I think this guy's got upside, and we know that DeSclafani gets touched. We know that these Pirates bats get to him. Like, it's just we're not entirely sure what Keller's going to do. He's only had 8 at-bats against these Reds who offensively aren't doing that much, but we know that these bats, Pirate bats, get to DeSclafani. 318 average. They're 21 for 66, and of those 21 hits, 5 are doubles and 5 are homers. I think Pittsburgh first 5 is possibly a look. I'm thinking about Drew. What do you think?
I don't have too much on this game as far as the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game. Mitch Keller, though, 6 earned runs in 3 different occasions so far, so he's kind of been knocked around a little bit, but he is taking a little bit of money here. And for a guy that's won 1 game in, 5 appearances in MLB taking money, that's kind of a question mark for me. Thinking maybe, some smart money, some people that have an angle on him might really see something there. Plus, DeSclafani, April 7th, he faced Pittsburgh, lit up for 6 runs, so he didn't have a very good faring against this lineup, so could see him struggling as well. I guess I kind of agree here with the small moves towards Keller, and I'd take a shot, but I doubt I get involved in this one.
I am close to a first 5, at least, play on Pittsburgh. I might need a little bit more. Whale Capper, have you looked at this spot?
Yeah, so this is one I had circled for there will be a run scored in the first inning, and I was looking at a first 5 over. When I woke up, I was looking at yes on first inning run, and it was -120. I didn't act quickly enough. It's up to -129. That's a little tight now, so I'm going to have to pass on this one. But I think you're going to see the Reds get after Keller early here, and I think you're going to see a pretty nice offensive game. Babano's look on the over makes sense to me, in the first 5 over, even though it's at 5, I would rather had 4.5. I think is worth considering.
Interesting. So back in the over. Hunter Engelhardt talking about the Pirates says the price is too expensive to take the Pirates, in his opinion, but he likes Keller to have a good start. Ben Sports 24/7 says take the Reds. DeSclafani, take them. That Pittsburgh has no momentum to run off. And our Matt Randall, our very own Matt Randall, can't play today, is in Cleveland run line. Says KC players were out partying last night in the flats. Cleveland needs this game. Cleveland run line for the Miami taint. That's coming from Matt Randall. Is anybody else making a move on this Reds-Pirates game, or should we move to another game?
No, I also like the first 5 over. Again, I said it yesterday, the Pirates are the most profitable first 5 over team. 75, 48, and 3 plus 21.1 units if you bet on the first 5 over in every one of their games. Just take the first 5 over in every Pittsburgh game going forward, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it keeps cashing.
I want to say the Reds are a great first 5 under team as well.
They are also the most profitable first 5 under team in the MLB. 67, 50, and 9 plus 9.8 units. So that's interesting, actually.
Well, I got to interject here. I mean, with Pittsburgh, they've hit this Reds pitcher plenty. But at the same time, where are they at as far as this hitting is going right now? They have absolutely nothing going on. They got 10 runs in the last 7 games. Do you think this guy, DeSclafani, is going to be getting lit up again for the 4th time by these same dudes who don't have anything going on? 10 runs in the last 7 games. That's fucking awful. You know what I mean? That's poverty style. And I think that's the only thing to worry about here, because I immediately looked at this game as the first thing that I wanted to put a bet on, and I completely went off just looking for 30 minutes on how bad this Pittsburgh team is performing offensively. So that's just the opposite side of the angle.
I hear it. I hear it, and I don't think that I have a big enough edge with exactly how you've talked about that Pirates offense. That why would I take them first 5 and trust them here, even if I trust Mitch Keller? So I'm not going to move anything. I'm not going to make a move, but I'm going to leave the lean up there, so it's not gone for sure. Drew Martin, what's your favorite look on this baseball card?
We got the best team in the American League, at least record-wise, going against the best team in the National League, record-wise. The nightcap tonight, New York Yankees at the LA Dodgers, Paxton versus Ryu. Ryu, last time out, he did lose to Atlanta, so kind of looking for a little bounce back here. Got the Dodgers. Actually, the Yankees taking money, giving us a cheaper price here on the Dodgers at home, seeing it as low as -137. I bet that. Pretty much the Dodgers average against lefties. Last 14 days, though, lineup really hot. 141 weighted runs created plus number. That's number 3 in baseball, I believe. And the bullpen has gotten a lot sharper of late, whereas on the other side, the Yankees pen has struggled the last month. Only 11.8% K to walk rate, 1.45 whip out of the pen. That's not very good for this Yankees bullpen. Paxton, as we're getting closer to college football here, the former UK Wildcat, he did win all 4 of his starts in August, but he hasn't really gone too deep in the game. So with the Yankees bullpen kind of struggling of late going against this Dodgers lineup at home, and the fact that the Yankees not looking good on this West Coast road trip, like Skee Profit just said, ride the hot teams, fade the cold teams of recent. I think that the Dodgers under -140 here are worth a look, and I bet it.
Yeah, there's been a big move towards the Yankees, and either you're scared by the market move or you see the Dodgers having more and more value. Babano, what do you think, Yankees-Dodgers?
Yeah, I agree. I would only look Dodgers in this game. Ryu's been outstanding. Ryu's made some adjustments, some mechanical differences from what he's done in the past, and it's worked. He's had an absolutely fantastic season. James Paxton, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, in the first inning has been a big problem for him all season long. It seems like he can't get settled into a game immediately. You don't want to be in that kind of situation against a Dodgers lineup. You have a shaky inning where you're missing up in the zone, you're walking guys, you're giving up the long ball, which has been another Paxton issue early in games this year. That's not what you want to be against this Dodgers team. But give the Dodgers credit. I mean, unfortunately, I had a small bet on the Jays last night, and it was looking good most of the night, but they came back in the 9th inning with 3 to walk it off 3-2. But they got through that spot. That was a miserable spot for them. They had already beaten the Jays twice. They had New York on deck. They looked like they were lethargic most of the night, and yet they still pull out that victory in the 9th inning, so give them credit for that. They're just playing good ball, and I said this on a bunch of shows lately. The New York Yankees are not showing a sense of urgency, and they don't have to right now. They're coasting along in the AL East at this point in time. I think it's just, I think boredom is setting in, complacency setting in a little with this group. Let's get to the playoffs. Let's get the good stuff going in October. They're not a team I'm rushing to bet on right now unless I've got a really good reason to. So I agree with Drew. I would look Dodgers or nothing. Yu
says you guys think the Yanks are going to lose 4 in a row. Brooke Jordan says Ryu is a first 5 god. Rod Swag says Yanks put it in cruise control to the end. Rich G on Dodgers first half -1/2 at -115. Viper MB on the Dodgers first 5. What is the market seeing in the Yankees here after they get swept by the A's? Well, Capper.
Well, I mean, as people tend to like to, look for a slump buster here or there or a good spot here or there. This is not a good spot for the Yankees to snap their slump. I don't get what the market is doing right now, drifting so far in their direction. And Ryu is a first 5 god. I was when I got up, I was considering looking at Dodgers, laying the half run on the first 5 run line. But the first 5 money line keeps drifting down and down and down. I might have to give that a careful look here too. So I'm watching this number, watching it come down. I'm probably going to be betting Dodgers first 5 in some way, either on the money line if we can get it in the -140 range, or laying the half run for. It looks like it's going to be about +110.
Yeah, and Rob Perwano saying cannot fade Ryu. Avi Gold said I'd rather be on Dodgers first 5 than the money line. They certainly look appealing right now. I'm going to wait and just keep watching what this market does with it. Rich G says Yanks look terrible and Cali Yankee starters can't compete, and it's become very obvious they don't have the pitching to compete with teams that have good pitching. Dodgers, Big Boss, have you looked at this Dodgers game?
I was just looking at it, not right now.
Okay.
I'm such a Dodgers fan. I'm Dodgers right now, and I'm trying to investigate and see if it's just a bias.
We'll have you on the late show, so you'll break down this game.
I don't think it's a bias. I mean, if you look at the Yankees and you look at their fan base, they themselves cannot stand the pitcher that they're putting on the mound in this game. If you watch them on Twitter, they hate this guy. And then, like you guys were saying, Ryu is 16-4-3, first 5 money line record, 5.45 units. He's the 7th most profitable pitcher on the first 5. I think the best look is probably the first 5, and I don't mind paying a bit of a price here. I just like you were saying, the Yankees are just coasting here. These games don't matter as much as they do to the Dodgers. So I feel like you're talking about a World Series preview, and it's at home. I think that the Dodgers have more invested in this game than the Yankees. And I think the first 5 is a great look on this one.
Yeah, and Jimmy, I don't think the market is giving Ryu enough credit here. Keep in mind, this is a guy that has 18 walks on the season. That's almost 150 innings, 126 Ks. That K to walk ratio is upwards of, the best we've seen in the last decade. And it's just not, he's not getting like, really the respect in the marketplace, it seems, off of the loss.
Yeah, I think everybody's look makes a ton of sense, but I still just kind of going to sit back and see what the market does before I make a move on it. We have Bubberito says, Jim, what do you think about Boston tonight? I really like Rodriguez to dominate, and Paddock at home He's a dangerous pitcher there. 7-6, 3.44 ERA, 0.98 WHIP overall, 121 Ks in 115 innings. We talk about Ryu's K to walk rate. Paddock has the same thing going from 121 Ks and 26 walks. Red Sox are hitting 282, 835 OPS versus righties. Padres 259, 788 OPS versus lefties. Padres can get to lefties. Padres 29 and 33 at home, 70 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 5 miles per hour, sideways out to right. Do any of you guys think that Paddock is going to throw a gem here against the Red Sox, or do you think Red Sox can get to him here?
This looks like a good spot to either take the full game over or the first 5 over. I think this is going to be an offensive game. I don't really love I like that the Padres are finally home. I like Paddock's future as a potential superstar in the as a pitching as a young pitcher goes, but. This is going to be an offensive game. I think when you see a total as low as 8, you have to be pretty confident that you're going to get 2 solid performances from your starters, and I don't know that we're going to see this today. So I'm going to look for over 8 and over 4.5 in the first 5 at plus 100.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm here on SBR Sportsbookreview.com on the odds page, and it has Hayden Spicer. What the hell is that? That's just a mistake, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that over 8 is very, very interesting. I find that very, very appealing. But Bono, what do you think of the over 8 in the Red Sox-Padres game?
Okay, keep in mind for Chris Paddock, too. Yeah, his home numbers are good, and I agree with the over here. His home numbers are good, but there's a lot of weaker lineups he's facing in that ballpark. Now you got to take on a Boston team that's certainly got the bats up and down that lineup for the most part, and they're really going to be a bigger challenge for him overall. And for Eduardo Rodriguez, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from this guy in terms of his control and command. Ducks on a pond. You've been seeing a lot of it with Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound lately. I mean, you look at his walk numbers. He's given up 4, 3, 6 walks in recent starts, one after another. Just command and control continues to be a problem. I've seen actually on the Nesson broadcasts, they've talked about it, the Red Sox crew, 3-0 counts have been an issue. He seems to go 3-0 a lot lately, and it just puts you in such a big hole when you're facing major league hitters and you're constantly working from behind 3-0. And it's leading to all of these walk issues that Eduardo Rodriguez is having right now. So, and the question is, can San Diego offensively take advantage of it? It's a lineup that we know has been capable at times. Their recent form's kind of been spotty. The 3 runs or less now in 4 straight games. But I think with a guy struggling with command and control, it gives them the opportunity. All you need is that one big blow, one big base hit into the gap. You can blow a game wide open and get a big crooked number on the board. So his control and command is spotty enough, even against a San Diego lineup that's a little sketchy. I'm willing to take a shot over the total.
Our San Diego Padres expert, Paco Healy, likes the Padres in this spot and says East Coast team in San Diego, Padres spot. Viper MB says the pitcher's park will help both pitchers. He likes the first 5 under. On point wagers, Sox Padres, first 5 under 4.5 is his max play. So we have a max play. Frank Alexander, though, I love it at over 8. Earl DeCanai says, I'm on first 5 under 4.5 as well. Brandon Lugo says Paddock is solid, especially at home, but I don't know how much Padres will push him as season progresses. Are any of you guys making a move?
I want to throw out one thing about this game, too, with Paddock, and I'm looking at it. 5, 5.1, 4, 6, 4.2 innings. In his last, he's not working deep, and that's bad news. San Diego middle relief's not good. All right, you can hit that middle relief core. You should see plenty of it if current form stays true with Paddock. He's not working deep, so you're going to see a lot of middling relievers against that Boston lineup tonight. That could be a concern.
Yeah, and what Bobino was saying, San Diego's bullpen is one of the bullpens that's kind of fallen off as the season has gone on. In the first half of the year, by some numbers, they were top 5, top 10 bullpen in baseball, fallen off of late. And, Paddock against this Boston lineup, when we talk profile of pitcher-wise, Boston tends to kind of knock around, the young flamethrowers a little bit better than some other lineups. So that's what kind of points me towards the Red Sox maybe here at this, real modest price.
Not Flashan says Padres have said they're going to keep him on a short innings program. I don't like seeing that many people in the chat saying the first 5 under is a max bet, because I'm very close to making a move on the over. I'm going to sit and think about it for a little bit longer, and then we'll make a move. All right, let's bounce through some of these very, very exciting games. First off, Braves, Mets, huge game. Fulton Avich, Jacob deGrom, 79 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 5 miles per hour in. Dom Ricci, have you studied this Braves Mets spot?
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's go right to our Mets expert, and let's get the play of the day chair lit
He's
up.
ready.
Let's get it lit up.
That's inside.
No sleeves needed.
No sleeves.
I won't be able to pick out in this chair, but
All right, Dom, grab the mic. Our play of the day chair in business. Our guy Dom Ricci breaking down this Braves Mets spot. Fulton Avich against deGrom. Hammer it away, my guy.
We might have a problem with this game. It's raining and it's cold in New York. I'm not sure what's going to happen if they're going to play this game. I just got the official weather report. So what I was looking at, of course, with this game is the first 5 under. Just because of the 2 pitches, it's pretty easy. All the stats, like over 1 million stats. But to go out 2-0, 2-0 last 3 starts, 2.96 home ERA. Both these had good pitching, a little bit better. So I like that game. The game I really like is that Nats game. I love the first 5 under in that game. And I also like, Will Cap is going to like this, the over in the game. I like the old under-over flim-flam bet.
Washington Nationals have been turning a lot of unders early to overs.
The Nats are 4-1 on the road, 6-1 in Sanchez's starts, but he's 2-5 versus a winning team. Lester, I'm not sure why everybody's down on Lester. He's 5-1 his last 6 days with 5 days rest, but he is 1-5 versus a winning team.
Do we have my Dom's mic? It's going okay. Okay, sorry.
The over Lester is 1-5 versus winning teams, and but he's pitching well at the beginning of games. I found one other stat. The over is 5-2 in the last 7 meetings when Lester pitched at home. So I like that first 5 under 4.5, and I like over 8 for the full game.
Wow,
that's walking hard today. 12 blunts last night. Sorry.
Back to the Fulton Avich deGrom start. The Mets open up at -200. There's been a 30-cent move towards the Braves and Fulton Avich.
I mean, he's been pitching well. I mean, Mets just swept the Indians. Braves play them well, but I'm not going against deGrom. And I just think they're gonna, with the weather and stuff, I just think the first 5 is live. deGrom has pitched 7 innings, 6 innings, 7-7. Only 5 innings twice in the last 10 games. Everything else has been over 7 games and 6. It was 7 innings and 6 innings. So I kind of like that.
And Fulte 1-1 with a 5.91 ERA against the Mets. Fulte's just, so he goes down to the minors, and he was good in the minors. And he's a high character guy, and I like seeing him go down and pitch well. 5-1 with a 3.86 ERA in the minors. And then he comes back, and it's the same problems. And the offense has bailed him out, but a 5.06 ERA in 3 starts. I don't see how you trust Fulton Avich, but he's the type of pitcher who's capable of stepping up in a high-pressure situation like this, even though he's got a 6.09 ERA, 1.47 whip. Braves, Mets, Whale Cap, are you thinking of making a move on this?
I like your breakdowns, and this is I have had a tough time kind of gauging what's going on with this Mets offense. They do have a heck of a lot of momentum right now, but then you look at what Atlanta keeps cranking out wins when they're in spots that look absolutely dead in the water. Yesterday they managed to put together runs in the 8th and 9th to squeeze out that victory. So it's really tough to get involved with this one on a side, but I think you have to kind of be paying attention to this one because the NL East is probably the most fascinating race going on right now in baseball.
I got something that might really blow your mind. The Mets are the most winningest team in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break.
Yeah.
No one is hotter than the Mets.
And their bullpen has been so good. Yeah. So we have Dom on the first 5 under.
I didn't bet it yet, but that's what I'll tell you what I did bet was the first 5 under with Chicago and the Washington over, and I also bet Boston under first 5, 4.5.
I like
Paddock is really good at home. A total different pitcher. We know the pitcher's ballpark. Boston loses they have to lose the extra batter.
Yeah.
Pitcher has to hit. Rodriguez isn't that great, but he's pretty good compared to that pitching staff, which is so underachieving. So I kind of like that game. Believe it or not, I almost like the under first 5 and the over for the game. I really do, but I couldn't do 2 of them.
I feel you.
Basically, it's hashtag, what's that, DJ? Hashtag under. Right. Exactly.
There he is, Dom Ricci in the house.
Just
Much
give me
love,
one
Dom.
quick minute. Just one quick minute.
Sure.
Just want to give a quick shout out to the hardest working man in our industry at SBR, taking us all over the place, making sure we got all our rooms together. Got to give a shout out to Big Seth right
Yeah, big time, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, of course, this will be complete.
Well said.
We're giving shout out to our fearless leader, Jimmy. We're all here because of him. We're all on this show because of him. This is his show. This is his thing. And we all love Jimmy the Bag. And you're the best.
Much love to you, Dom.
The
Thank
flagship.
You. That is, you're such a great guy and great friend. And, man, I just love capping with you and hanging with you. And thank you for those kind words. Our guy Kevin Tantillo says, Jimmy, I'm a long-time low bagger. Been watching nearly every day for 2 years. I was hoping to give a shout-out to my new account, Bear Jew Bets.
Okay.
Donnie Loxowitz. So there you go, Bear Jew Bets, Donnie Loxowitz. There you go,
Solid
Kevin.
name.
Yeah, I like it. All right, and there is our guy, Dom Ricci. Dom Ricci in the house. Let's talk Royals, Indians, Junis Plesac. Are the Indians going to bounce back and smash these Kansas City Royals after a tough swing through New York? Are they going to come back tired? Are they going to come back angry? They went 2-5 on that stretch of very tough games in the Bronx, and then over at Citi Field. Puig now 0 for 15 in the last 4 games. He's completely quieted down. Junis has not been. Junis has been good. Junis has been good, and 9 straight times he's made it through 6 innings. That's impressive. But the Indians smash him. 1-3 with a 6.52 ERA. 4 meetings with the Indians this season. He's got a 6.05 ERA overall against them in his career. And Plesac's another guy that, if you look at some of the advanced analytics, you think, this guy's going to get touched soon, but he hasn't been, and he's been very good against the Royals. Does anybody have a move on this Royals-Indians game?
Well, I'd like to say that I always love a good partying angle. And if the Royals really were, I have a tough time believing that, but maybe that's true. That I really don't know how you could ever back the Indians at this kind of price the way they've been playing lately. This is a team that really looks lost, and maybe being at home will be the magic elixir. But there's a lot of us I know in this community who have Indians to win the AL Central tickets with huge fat numbers that we surely would like to not see drift off into the distance here. So I would really love them to kind of pull out of this tailspin and get a damn win.
I had a chance to hedge at a -115 on each side and put 500 on the Twins, and we talked about it, and I never pulled the trigger, and I hope that doesn't come back to haunt me. So I agree. I think that the Indians should not be trusted right now. And that was a tough trip, and now they're back home, and it's tough, coming back home, and then you have to deal with all the bullshit. Like, I hope they win. I expect them to win, but I don't think I'm going to put my money on this spot. They opened at -181. They're now -178. This total opened at 9.5 and is now at 9. So we will see what the Indians do. And then I really want to talk about the game that we're all going to. Phillies, Marlins tonight. Velasquez versus Noesi. This is a big spot. I didn't have any action in the Dolphins game last night, but this is different. This is very, very different. Phillies opened up at -175. There's a 1-cent move against them. This total was juiced to the under at under 9 -120. It's now under 9 -112. So an 8-cent move back to the over. And there's a lot of people talking about taking the over last night, because we have this Hector Noesi, 32-year-old journeyman, and this guy 12-34 with a 5.46 ERA in his career. He hadn't pitched in the majors since 2015 before this season. I mean, this is just a journeyman who could get touched here, but Vince Velasquez I just never trust in any situation. Marlins are batting just .238, 656 OPS versus righties. They just finished their second straight 0-6 road road trip. They lost 12 straight road games, so I'm sure they're happy to come home. And the Phillies have played bad against these Marlins all year. Phillies are 6-7 against the Marlins, and Velasquez is just someone I don't trust. He's 3-4 with a 4.56 ERA since rejoining the rotation, and he has not lasted more than 5 2/3, or he has once. Sorry, he has once. He has good numbers against the Marlins in his career, 4-3 with a 3.26 ERA, and bad numbers at Marlins Park though, 0-3 with a 4.40. Is the over the look here? Is the over what we hammer? Skee Profit, what are you going to do with the game we're going to tonight?
I don't have a strong opinion on the side. I think it would have to be Philly or nothing. I would fade Noesi, like you just said, and I mean the look for me, it's not very strong. Both teams have went. I mean, Philly has went under 4 of their last 5 games. Miami under 5 of their last 6 games, but they went over 8 of the last 9 home games. So we're going to be there cheering for points. I would have to look for over.
I think so too. Drew Martin, what do you think?
It's interesting because I could definitely see that happening. You touched on Velasquez's numbers in this ballpark not being very good. Plus, when you talk about profile wise of where the Marlins really struggle, it's against guys that attack the strike zone and throw hard. 95 plus. Velasquez is kind of on the border there. His fastball high 93, 94 miles per hour. Not sure where to exactly characterize him as far as finesse or a power pitcher. 27 years old, second round walk ratio necessarily be lights out against this Marlins lineup. Also watch it, Cooper didn't play, so watch if Anderson and Cooper in the lineup for the Marlins, because if they're banged up, then I think it's tough to bet the over with this Marlins team. Plus a 75 weighted runs created plus number over the last 2 weeks is not very good from this Marlins team. Even them, that's pretty cold. So I think there's kind of reasons to look towards the over and the under. As far as sidewise, minus 180, that's about where I put it. Hector Noesi getting MLB starts, that's kind of a question mark, Jimmy, and it makes me not want to bet the Marlins at home here.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. Hunter Engelhardt says, Drew Martin, you are exactly correct. Vince is going to be in the zone today. Almac, how are you handling this game we're going to?
I'm just going to blindly bet the over. Just any Blue Jays game that I've gone to that I had no actual investment in, just bet the over, man. I think it's going to be a fun time. An eighth of a unit.
Will Capper, how are you handling this one?
I think it's pretty clear we have a consensus on the over here, man. I think this is going to be a fun game. It's we should be able to catch some foul balls, catch some home runs. Nice opportunity to cheer for some offense.
Yeah, Noesi just looks like he's going to get touched. Is there a chance? I don't know how much of a chance there is. Velasquez is going to be great, but this Marlins offense is so weak. Are we better off just taking the Phillies team total over?
I think we might be, except the Phillies haven't exactly been too hot of late. That's one reason maybe not to.
Yeah, it's a tricky spot. Parlay Papi, what's your move here?
Look, man, Vince Velasquez is on the no-no list, but let's look at how he handles these Marlins bats. 90 at-bats, tiny batting average allowed against that .170 mark. These guys are slugging at .350. I mean, I expect Velasquez to actually do pretty well right here. We know the Phillies are struggling on offense, but come on, man, we got Noesi, man. What's going on? 5 runs in each of his last 3 starts. There's only 3 starts here in the MLB this year. 6 home runs. I mean, this guy is atrocious, and this Miami bullpen is probably the worst bullpen in the last 2 to 3 weeks that it can get in the MLB. 6.5 walks per 9, 4 home runs per 9. I mean, this is exponentially anomalized. It's not going to stay there, but the thing is, against any AAA lineup, they're going to fuck these Marlins bullpens up. And at the same time, I'm going to take this 2 different ways. I'm going to take the Marlins first 5 team total under 1.5. I'm going to take the Phillies team total over 4.5 for the full game at minus 135 here.
Wow, I like it. I like it. But Bano, how are you handling this game that we're going to?
Yeah, for me, first 5 over is more appealing than full game, because the one thing I'll say is the Phillies bullpen, you see the way they pitched against Boston? I couldn't believe it. They're holding leads at Fenway Park against the Red Sox. Amazing. 1.96 ERA last 10 games for that Phillies bullpen. So that's the one issue with the full game over. I think the full game over is a good lean too, but I'm going to go first 5 over 5 instead, because you look at Noesi, 5 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs, 6 innings, 6 runs, 4.1 innings. Lots of runs early, not a ton of runs late in his starts. You know, the scoring has kind of died down after he's left the game. So I think first 5 over 5 is the stronger look for me.
I like that look too.
My biggest concern with this game is, how do I find myself in the pool of that outfield? That's my biggest concern.
Yes, I'd like to.
Are you taking a dip in there?
Hey man,
Should we be bringing board shorts and going that route?
If there's enough home runs, yes.
The pool's in the club area.
Yeah, that's where I have tickets. Is in the club area.
Oh, nice. Nice. You gonna pull your hog out?
Sitting over here.
Well, think about it. Don't make a decision yet. Wait till the rest of the show, and then you can tell us if you're gonna pull your hog out. Okay, let's keep rolling. I like the first 5 over 5. I think that's a good look. And I like the full game over. I think that's the Phillies team total over is 5.5 at plus money right now. Andy Harris coming in saying Korean baseball, Doosan Bears still cashing. I like the first 5. I think I'm going to make a move here. Are you going to make a move on this?
On the
over?
I haven't gotten there yet. I mean, Vince Velasquez only made it to the 6th inning one time this year, and like Babano touched on, this Phillies bullpen has been solid of late. 1.27 WHIP out of the pen. That I don't see the Marlins scoring very much, man. That's what's making me question this over.
I agree, but I still don't trust Velasquez. The 4.5s are here on the first 5, so the 4.5. So it opened at 5 at plus 100. It's now at Bet Online. It's now 5 at minus 105 over. So the market's a little confused here. 5 Dimes and Bookmaker brought it down to 4.5. Heritage has brought it down to 4.5. So has UWager. They've all brought it down to 4.5. Whale Capper, if you had a free play on this, would you? And you had to make a decision between the first 5 and the full game, what would you take?
A lot of good points being made. I'm starting to lean first 5.
Yeah, and that 4.5 is.
And that's the thing. I mean, the Phillies bullpen pitches great in Boston against the Red Sox. Now you're pitching Miami's lineup in Marlins Park. You know, if you could get outs against Boston at Fenway, in theory, you should be able to tonight. That's the one issue I have with the full game over. I certainly would lean that way. It's just I think first 5 innings, you got the better chance for the runs to be early rather than late.
Yeah,
I just think that there's a chance that it's going to turn into a classic late August baseball game in Miami where one of the teams is just not going to care and throw one of their pitchers out to the wolves. So I could just see it being type of game that's 3-2 going into the 6th, and then it ends up being like 11-4 or something, a final like that.
That happens a lot with Marlins games, unfortunately, for Marlins fans.
Russell Gordy's saying, y'all say Miami can't hit and then took the over first 5. I mean, what we've done is we've talked about it, Russell. I mean, no one's...
I'm thinking that Marlins team total under first 5.
Yeah, so I'm going to wait and think about this a little bit more, because I want to have a move on this game, but I don't want to be sitting there at the game going, come on, Fish, get me some offense, because they're not going to. It's possible that they're not going to. And like if this is a 6-0 game, 4-0 after 5 and 6-0 at the end of it, or 6-1 or something, I don't know. Alex Gross said Miami playing in the month of August when the total's 8.5. Miami is 7-0-1. That's an interesting look. And Hunter Engelhart said, I'm on the first half under. There we go. I'm on the first half under from Hunter Engelhart right now. All right, so that's going to take time for me to make a move on it, and I haven't not done that yet. We have Astros, Angels, and Greinke on the mound. 3-0, 2.37 ERA since Houston acquired him. 4-5, 3.94 ERA over 13 appearances against the Angels. This was supposed to be Griffin Canning's start, and Griffin Canning's been shut down, so now it's Jose Suarez, and Jose Suarez has been absolutely terrible. Just absolutely terrible. And these Astros have not been playing well. They've not been playing well, and they're dealing with injuries, and they barely beat Detroit, barely were beating Detroit, lost a few games to Detroit. They have Carlos Correa indefinitely out with back injury, and then their utility guy Diaz is also out with some undisclosed illness, so their infield doesn't look as strong. But Suarez is so bad, and there's been a huge move towards the Angels, and I guess I could understand it. minus 310 it opens. It's now minus 265. A 40-cent move. Excuse me, a 45-cent move over to the Angels. This total opened up at 9.5. It's still at 9.5 at only bookmaker. Everywhere else has gone down to 9. But Bono, have you looked at this Angels-Astros game?
You know what? Astros team total over is screaming at me right now. Astros team total over. But the concerns about this team playing that, complacent baseball are legitimate right now. I mean, that Detroit series, they weren't running over that Tigers team by any stretch of the imagination. Even last night's game, it was a close one. Or 6-3 last night. But before that, close games with that Tigers team. You just worry about focus for them. There's nothing for me to like about Suarez. I don't like Jose Suarez at all. We know the Astros against lefty pitching, how they can destroy southpaws. They've done it all season long. Top team, one of the top teams in baseball against lefty pitching. So to me, I would look Astros team total over. I'm leaning that way. I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Again, their current form's kind of concerning. Some games they're getting shut down by Detroit's pitching staff. Are you kidding me? But in theory, they should hit Suarez. I mean, Suarez has been in awful form. The Pirates of all teams in a recent start just crushed Suarez. Astros proficient against lefties. Astros team total over 5.5 would be the way I'd bet it.
What's that juice at? Do you have that in front of you?
Right around even money, minus 110.
Yeah, that's definitely a look I'm interested in. Definitely a look I'm interested in. Sean Glass saying Astros full game over. Is anybody else making a move on this game?
If I am making a move, it would have to be on the over. I know when Suarez goes, the over is 9-1-1, and I just trust offense in this game, if anything.
And you trust the Angels to get theirs too?
I would, yes.
Interesting.
Hey, I got to look over here, Jimmy. We got to go back to the good old 5 times. Sometimes they do this weird stuff with the line. I'm not sure if we're going to get a void here, but make sure you check your book 5 times. We got a team total for the Angels at 5.5. We have a team total for the Astros at 5.5. That doesn't really seem to add up. So this will probably be a voided bet, but this is the Papi play of the day. It's team total under 5.5 for the Angels at minus 135. Can we see them absolutely abusing Greinke? Not so much. Can I see them getting to the bullpen maybe a little bit, but more than 5 runs against these Astros, Angels right now? I don't think it's happening. I'm thinking that team total under 5.5, minus 135.
Lamont Williams coming in with a max bet on Texas money line as well. Lamont Williams, I got to copy and paste that. I like that. I like that move. What do you guys think of the Angels team total under?
That's a 5 times miscue, I think. I don't think that adds up at all. So we're taking it. It's probably be voided, but we'll test it out.
By the way, Suarez last 4 starts with him on the mound starting. The opponents had 10, 9, 8, 10 runs scored. So that would cash in over 5.5 tonight.
And Paco Healy saying 3.5 at you wager. It will be voided.
5 times.
I was just gonna say there's.
I don't know. Try to hold him to that.
Like Astros minus 2.5 is like.
This happens like once a month.
So there's no way that's gonna stand. That's funny though.
They're probably copying a number from another game, right? And they just looked at it wrong, like on the grid.
Right.
That happens a lot.
Just don't put too much money on it and hold him to it. Give him a little pushback.
Or you just send angry emails like those guys would ever respond. But, sometimes it gets the points across.
We also have Diamondbacks, Brewers coming up today. Merrill Kelly, Jordan Lyles. I want to also get to some of the other sports, and I want to get to the plays of the day. We have this Diamondback spot. We're almost done the card, and we might not get to each and every game, but we're pretty close right now. This total opened up at 9.5. It's now at 10. The Brewers opened up at minus 158, and they're now at minus 142. So a 16-cent move towards the Arizona Diamondbacks and Merrill Kelly. Jordan Lyles, 5th start since being acquired from the Pirates. He's 2-1 with a 3.43 ERA for Milwaukee, 15 hits, 21 innings, walked 11 against 18 strikeouts. I don't like his stuff at all. He's traditionally bad against the Diamondbacks. He spent 4.5 seasons, Colorado and San Diego. He's 2-7 with a 7.23 ERA against the Diamondbacks. I don't trust him. And Merrill Kelly might be getting it back. One of these things we talk about a lot on the show is these pitchers that come over from Asia. They're not used to the 162 games, and they get to that spot, from games 100 to 125, 130, where they look like they're languishing a bit. Now he looks like he's got his shit together and he's starting to pitch better. Do the Diamondbacks have value here on the road against Lyles? And if so, would it be first 5 isolating Kelly versus Lyles?
Go ahead, man.
You got it.
Well, you would think immediately that there's value here, and that's my first intuition when I looked at this line. But the thing is, Arizona's 1-7 straight up in their last 8 against Milwaukee. What I like about this spot, though, Arizona, we know, is renowned for hitting away. They're top 5 in offensive metrics, hitting away from home. They're a lot better on the road. And the thing here is with Lyles, every single time he's seen these Diamondbacks, almost this entire roster they have, it's once every 2 years, basically, from Lyles, because he's been on a couple of these teams they've played. He's given up 4 runs every time to these Arizona Diamondbacks. And the thing is here, also, the Brewers bullpen, God, what happened to them? We used to hold them to such high esteem, but now they're pretty bad. They're pretty unreliable. We got Hader doing God knows what. The rest of the staff is not doing their job. So I trust Kelly enough because, you know, Jimmy, you always talk about the character guys and the guys that you buy on, the guys who kind of are cutting their teeth. And I feel like this is one of those type of guys, right? He's coming off a encouraging start after getting completely abused the last 3 or 4 times he was out. And right here, if we have this underdog spot with Arizona, I almost like them full game better because I know that they have the superior bullpen in current form, at least for the month. And I know the Brewers are kind of wish-washing away. Their offense has woken up a little bit, but at the same time, I think I'm going to take a chance backing Merrill Kelly with these Arizona bats on the road against Lyles, who they've seen, and this poor pitching bullpen department in the Brewers.
I like it. You know, and our pink eye genie, who's our Diamondbacks expert and our pink eye expert, he is backing the Diamondbacks first 5, and I'm in. This is my first play on the card. Nice to finally get one in there that I can back. I'm on the Diamondbacks first 5 at plus 128, and that makes me feel good. What do you think about this spot?
Are you laying a half run or the money line?
No, I'm laying the money line. I'm going for a plus spot. I'm not.
On the Diamondbacks?
Yeah.
That's a nice look.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm surprised that this line is Milwaukee minus 150, to be honest. This is 2 teams going in opposite directions. The Diamondbacks are going to be the proverbial team that no one wants to play, that's out of the playoff chase from here to the end of the season. There's going to be a lot of opportunities where they're going to have value. Just because they're on the road doesn't really mean much to me in this spot. I think the Diamondbacks are clearly the better team. I would take them first 5, and I would take them full game.
And full game. I'm just going to stick with the first 5 at this point, but I can definitely understand backing them full game as well. But I'm just going to stick with the first 5 at this point. We're almost to the point where we're going to be opening it up to the audience, but there are a couple games left and stuff we haven't talked about. We have Rangers, White Sox, Alin, and Cease, and I do want to talk about that because Gas Station Sushi, an excellent capper, has a max bet on Rangers on the minus 1.5 line. Lamont Williams, max bet on the Texas Rangers, and I like Dylan Cease. I like him. I really think that we're getting value with the 5.93 ERA and the 1.57 WHIP. I think that we're getting that the market is reading him wrong. And I've watched his starts, and one start I was so impressed with when there was 3 errors behind him in the first inning, and he got out of that first inning without allowing a run, and he only went 5. So when you're looking at his numbers, like, oh well, he's not going deep into games. But I think that this is I'm not certain here with this Rangers lineup that's, without Gallo and Mazzara, that I can trust them to do anything for me. And hitting this under yesterday was very, very easy in this game. And I don't like if we're talking about 2 offenses. I think the White Sox have a better offense. I'm certainly not going to take the White Sox when Gas Station Sushi's on the Rangers minus 1.5 and Lamont Williams is max betting it. But I just, as you guys know, I've talked about Cease, and I like Cease. Does anybody have a spot on this here? The Rangers opened up at minus 140, they're now minus 137. This total opened at 9. It's now at 8.5.
I think that Lance Lynn is actually a little bit vulnerable here, despite being better on the road. He won his last 3 starts against the White Sox, but in the last 2, he's allowed 8 earned runs in those 12 innings. So the side I was originally leaning was actually towards a White Sox team total under, and that was at 1.5, and that's probably juiced maybe to now 2.5 or something. But I actually almost leaned. It's weird. Almost lean like a White Sox side on the first 5. Not necessarily believing in Cease, but man, this offense in Texas is just it's different without these guys in the lineup. And I think that Lance Lynn being a little bit vulnerable here against these White Sox that are still hitting the ball is still. It looks like they actually care. From these bottom tier teams, White Sox are ranked to me as the team that actually is trying to do stuff and trying to play. And I don't know if I'm going to make that an official play, but I am strongly leaning White Sox first 5 and kind of fading Lynn against this lineup that's hit him before, and maybe having Cease be able to deal some of the lesser bats on the Texas lineup.
The first half total opened up at 4.5. It's now moved to 5 at Bovada, 5 Dimes, and Intertops. Babano, you have a look on this spot here in the Rangers versus White Sox?
It's a really tricky game for me to wrap my head around because I like Lil Cease, the rapper from the 90s. I can't say I like Dylan Cease quite as much, but 5.93 ERA for him this season in 8 starts, 2-6 the White Sox in his 8 starts. Nothing to write home about here. But here's the issue with backing Texas. I tried an over with them last night. 1 run against Ross Detweiler and the White Sox pen. They got issues right now hitting the baseball. And for as good as Lance Lynn's been, 2.65 ERA his last 3 starts, you haven't been cashing tickets in those last 3 starts. 0-3 Texas in Lance Lynn's last 3 trips to the mound. So, the offense and the run support for him in his starts isn't there. It certainly wasn't there last night in the game against the White Sox. So I do favor Lynn, but with an offense that's sketchy, with an offense with a lineup that's banged up, a below 500 team is a road favorite. I'm not rushing to bet a team in that spot. So I lean Texas, but I'm staying away.
Jimmy, and to add on to what Babano was saying, yeah, the earned runs haven't been there the last 3 games, but he's had 11 walks in his last 3 starts. That's alarming for me. It would be the Chicago White Sox or pass for me at a plus price.
Yeah, but if you watch Gas Station Sushi and Lamont Williams with their max bets, they hit it a very, very high percentage. So they are seeing something that we are not seeing. I see this offense being dead right now. At this point, we have a couple more games left. We have Tigers Twins with Berrios not looking very good against Verhagen, who I think is another pitcher. It's easy to say he's better than his numbers, but I really believe that. Then we have Peter Lambert and Jack Flaherty in St. Louis. St. Louis took care of business. We talked about it last night. St. Louis was down to the Rockies. I was like, Rockies, they don't care. They don't fight. And St. Louis is in playoff mode. Do any of you guys have a play? And they came back easily. Do any of you guys have a play on any of those 2 games, or should we open it up to the audience?
I will say this. There's our friend who's been on SPR for years, Alex, does the soccer. They call him the Alex Classic. I think last night we can call it the Whale Capper Classic, the strikeouts prop on Garrett Cole. Yeah. I think if you're looking at a strikeouts prop tonight, you look at Jack Flaherty. You look at what this guy is doing in terms of the swings and misses. My goodness. 55 strikeouts as of late for this guy. Are you kidding? I mean, he's on the roll of a lifetime, really, for this Cardinals team ever since the All-Star break. He's been absolutely scintillating on the mound for this St. Louis team. He's found it, and I always believed in the guy. Coming into the season, I had high hopes for Jack Flaherty on this St. Louis team. He didn't put it together. He struggled. He got beat around a little bit early in the season, but man, he's found it now. He's been outstanding. Yeah, 55 strikeouts for Flaherty and 43.1 innings for him in his last 7 starts. That's .83 ERA, 3-0 in his last 7 starts overall. Just incredible numbers. He's pitched very well all season at Busch Stadium, and especially as of late in his current red-hot form. Obviously, it's well priced. We know that. There's not much value here to be had with St. Louis. Maybe you go Rockies team total under tonight just because Flaherty's been awesome. But just thinking back to what Whale Capper said, looking at strikeout props as a way to make some money betting MLB, Flaherty's a candidate as a guy that could rack him up tonight against Colorado.
Yeah, I like that look. I'm interested to see what that number is at when it pops out.
I got a number for you.
What is that?
It's a little high, but it's bettable. It's over 7.5.
7.5.
Plus money to the over.
I was going to guess 7.5. That's a tough number.
Plus 120 though, if you like the over.
And you get a plus line.
I think you're going to see 7 innings pitched out of Flaherty tonight, so that's not a bad look at all.
Yeah, no, I like it. Mr. Johnson saying Cards run line minus 120. I don't have a lot of plays on this card at this point. In fact, I only have the Diamondbacks right now, first 5, but I think that can change when I hear some of the low baggers chat. So we're going to go to plays of the day, and it can be on any sport. And then when we come back before the show closes out, we're going to talk. Al's going to talk a little bit about CFL. And I want to hear what Skee's doing with WNBA. So we got some more to do. We also have a new face, a new low bagger face in the crowd. What's happening, man?
How y'all doing? Carolina Days.
Carolina Days
in
the
live
house
in person.
Do you have a play of the day for us? I'm
here to learn from you
Okay. Well, we also have another new face. He's actually been here with us earlier in the week, but he had to work all week, so he got himself a hotel room for the weekend, and he almost paid for it had Giles not been on paternity leave, and if the Jays had have held that win, it would have been all paid for from our guy Triple K Marine. But still a winning day yesterday. Triple K Marine, we want to see you on camera, man. Can you hit the play of the day chair? Okay, well hit the play of the day chair. We want to see. We need to see the face. We need to know. Triple K Marine in the house. Grab that mic, man.
Hey, let everybody know Gogie's landed.
Oh. Gokster has landed. Oh, the Gokster has landed.
Drew Martin
Oh,
calls
you're
him
going to
the
go pick him up?
Gooster.
Okay, sweet.
Out the windows.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. All right, Triple K Marine, what's your best look on the card today?
Well, I'm going to start off with the Washington Nationals. I'm going to go with the money line, maybe the alt line, and then hopefully have some money to work with in the night games. And I'm going to play probably the Phillies run line, maybe the extra inning play, which is plus 1,000. So get 10 times your money. 10 times your money on the extra inning play, because a lot of the Miami Marlins games are very low scoring. There's a lot of garbage play, a lot of pop-ups, ground outs. So that's where I'm at.
That's where you're at.
Anyway, I had a question about, you went to the track, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you see the this guy with Tourette's there? I call him the N-word guy. He goes around like, when he's on the machine putting in his bets, he like says the N-word and like smashes the machine and like does all this stuff.
Somehow I missed him.
Did you see that?
That seems horrifying, but thanks for the story.
All these twitches and stuff.
Yeah, no, I missed him. But there's a guy I do thoroughbred horses with who has Tourette's in Toronto, and he says the most horrifying, violent things.
I don't know. He just like everybody stays away from him when he's on the machine, or when he's putting in his bets.
I'll keep my eye out for him, Triple K Marine. I'll keep my eye out for him, man.
Well, I'm hoping to hit that plus 1,000 extra innings, Miami Marlins. All right, that's me.
Miami Marlins extra innings. There he is, Triple K Marine. Triple K Marine in the house. Thank you, Triple K Marine. All right, we got to keep rolling through. Big Ragu, you got a spot for us? You gonna save it for the late show?
I can give it out early. This way you get a jump on before the line goes up.
Let's hear it. Please welcome to the play of the day chair our own Big Ragu, fresh off crushing the horse track yesterday.
Good morning, boys and girls. How are we doing today, everybody?
Wonderful.
All right, so I'm going to give you an early play of the day. It's the only thing I looked at, actually, so I'm going to call it the play of the day for right now. But anyways, it's a look on the Twins and the Tiger game. And it's a total. Looking at these pitchers, you got Verhagen. His last 3 starts, he's at a 6.5 ERA with a 2.04 WHIP. And Berrios is no bargain either. He's at a 8.44 ERA with a 1.875 WHIP. I think Verhagen's probably getting a little softer contact, and Berrios is getting hit, it seems like. But I just don't touch the I don't trust the Detroit bats. And I think the total's like 8.5. Is it 8.5 or 9.5?
I'll grab.
Check that for me.
Yeah, I'll grab it right now. I'm happy you're talking about this game because we didn't get to it in our breakdowns. This Verhagen. Yeah,
See
Verhagen.
9.5 at most shops.
9.5.
Yeah.
I think a more solid look, even though it's juiced a little higher, is the twin totals on the team total over on the Twins, 5.5 runs. So I think there's a little more value there as far as the bats go. But if Detroit's bats decide to show up, I think the game flies over the total based on the 2 pitchers. But I'm going to lean and make it a play of the day also. I'm going to get off the lean. I'm going to make it a play of the day, minus 140 on the Twins team total over 5.5.
On the Twins team total over, and Berrios 6.25 ERA, 8 career appearances, 7 starts against Detroit, and Detroit 2-5 on their current 10-game road trip, but they're playing okay. And Berrios getting hit hard, but he is one of those types of pitchers that, I could be like, oh, look, he's getting crushed, and then he puts out a nice performance and shows that he's going to be counted on through the stretch run, and that's the only thing that concerns me. Also, Minnesota 2-7 in their last 9 at Target Field, but 264 batting average, 18 OPS versus righties. Any of you guys making a move on this total in the Twins-Tigers game?
It makes sense to me, but this does feel like a get-right spot for Berrios, so it's a little sketchy.
Back at home, he's been pitching bad against the lineup that's 229, 666 OPS versus righties, and I think that's why Ragu went from the Twins total instead of taking the full game over. Is that part of it?
Correct, yeah. I just, there's the 2 biggest variables is Berrios, obviously, and then also the bats on the Tiger side. So they're going to play against one another anyway, so I figure I trust the Twins bats more than I trust Berrios showing up versus if he decides to let down and the Tigers get hot, or vice versa.
I agree with what Big Ragu's saying. I trust the Twins lineup more than the Tigers lineup. You look at this matchup, Berrios 6-4, 7, 11 strikeouts his last 4 starts against a strikeout pitcher against a strikeout lineup here, and that's the big concern.
Yeah.
33% K rate in the last 2 weeks for those Tigers. Maybe that prop with the Berrios might be live to strikeout.
That's a good look.
Yeah, and Noli Note says, I think Berrios deals today. So a lot of us with the same sort of fear about Berrios getting right here.
The Berrios strikeout prop got hit pretty hard this morning. They opened it up at 6.5 even money, and it's minus 140 now to the over. So
Wow.
Somebody's out there hammering.
Somebody's hammering that for sure. And Ragu going to put together, and I'd like to help, but let's let Ragu lead, man. He's an incredible thoroughbred capper. We are going to put together a rainbow pick 6. We think it's going to be over $1 million.
Yes.
Right? We think there's going to be over $1 million in the
tomorrow
pot.
at Gulfstream.
We're gonna, listen, when you guys get down here, get to Gulfstream Park, and we'll put you on some winners. And we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow afternoon. We're going to take a shot at the pick 6. It's going to be over $1 million. So if we can put 6 numbers together in 6 races, we're taking them down tomorrow.
There he is. Our Big Ragu in the house. Thank you, Big Ragu. Liking that Minnesota Twins team total over, and also the opportunity for doing the Rainbow Six is something that you get to do when you're in big groups. It's an expensive ticket, and so for when I'm solo, I just do pick 4s because the pick 6 is a little. This is the perfect opportunity for us to go for $1 million, $1 million, man, and then really put a bow on this. All right, I need to see my guy Nut Flush Allen in the play of the day chair. You got something for us? Yeah, beautiful. Please welcome to the show, Nut Flush Allen.
All right, guys. Thank you again for having us here. This has been a blast. Just got a quick one. I'm going to go to the Cincinnati Pitt game on the strikeout prop. I'm going to take however you say his name there, Anthony Esfandiari for the Pitt Cincy game. I'm going to take him on the strikeout prop at over 4.5 at plus 100. Thought process on it for me is him going against the Angels, struck out 5, Washington struck out 3, and since St. Louis struck out 4. We know this Pittsburgh, we know this Pittsburgh team is bad, and I mean bad. We've made a lot of money fading them this year. I know you have too, Twatty. So I just see a bad lineup, a team that's just kind of throwing in the towel. And to get to those numbers against the other teams, I think 4.5 at plus 100 is a pretty good look to pick up some cash.
Interesting, Disclafani over 4.5. It's a very interesting look against the Pirates team that's not hitting right now. I like it, getting a plus line. Well, Capper, you keep an eye on all these strikeout props. What do you think of Disclafani over 4.5 at plus?
Yeah, I had that circled as well. My only concern would be if somehow he kind of second time through the lineup gets hit a little bit harder, maybe they pull him. But that was a number that looks bettable to me at 4.5. And Pirates free swinging. This is a good look.
I like it a lot. I think that's a very, very cool angle.
If you look at these Pirates in the box, it seems like they're just mailing it in. There's not a lot of effort up there at this point, I think. So for me, I think it's easy money. We grab it.
I love it. There's Nut Flush Allen's play of the day. The strikeout prop over for Disclafani. Strikeout prop over. Thank you so much, Nut Flush. Much love, man. That was great. Beautiful Nut Flush Allen giving us the goods. Okay, let's keep rolling. Josh, you got to play the day. Yeah, you wait for the. Yeah, okay, do a little bit more work. What about we got Trot Wham?
Trot Wham!
All right, please welcome to the show. Yesterday's winner of the NFL Game Pass can watch every game all year long on, and we just love him so much. So please welcome to the show, Walter Trotter.
Yes. Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. So the only thing I bet so far is the biggest swing in pitchers today, which is that Angels game, Houston game. You know, we see Suarez giving up, I think it's like a 6-point-something ERA. I feel like there is some sort of a reach in this lineup. They have the expected lineup, at least, for Trout and Ohtani to be batting, second and third. There may be a little bit gap in between that lineup. So I'm looking for Greinke to eat. Skee Profit might be good for Greinke today. I didn't look at it yet or anything, but that might be a good look. But I'm looking to take Houston over 2.5. That's the only thing I bet so far is -140 at Heritage for the first 5 over 2.5. I think there's going to be some runs. I think somebody was talking about there's going to be some runs in this game. So that's the only thing I bet so far. Looking at a half a unit. This keeps this momentum going.
Yeah, man, I like it. The team total over 2.5. That makes a ton of sense to me. Doesn't that make a ton of sense?
It does. It does.
So, and in fact, it won't be at minus, or it won't be at 2.5 when we come here on late show. It'll be 3.5.
That sounds right. And I'll throw in another way to hit this same sort of thought and same sort of angle. I like what you brought up about the Angels lineup and who they got going 2-3. That presents maybe a little bit higher likelihood that we see an Angels run in the first inning relative to the way they priced that first inning yes/no market. And we know that the Houston lineup is absolutely they're capable of putting up runs every inning if they're so inclined. So maybe first inning yes has some value. I'm looking at it at only -130 right now. That seems like a bettable number in the same way that over team total over would be.
So that's first 5, 2.5.
First 5, 2.5. And actually, I was expecting it to be at 3.5, maybe at some other places, because if there's 5, and they're such a big favorite, they're supposed to be pulling more than just 3 runs in the first 5. So I was thinking that'd probably be a little bit higher, but at 2.5 Heritage, that's the only thing I bet so far.
Yeah, that's a surprising number, man. I like that pick. I like the shirt too. Swipe right.
Swipe
shirt,
right on OG Wham with that pick.
I'm gonna tail it.
Look at the guys who are hitting off Greinke, right? It's Mike Trout 6 for 15, Upton 11 for 31, Pujols 11 for 32, all homers. Like that thing is a live look.
Yeah, I like offense here early, but especially with the 285 batting average and 878 OPS versus lefties for the Astros. So there's this 2.5 is not going to be there. It's -147 right now at Pinnacle, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to tail our Walter Trotter first 5 team total over for the Astros. Thank you for sharing. Great play, man.
Yeah, looking for something else later on.
Sounds great, man. There he is.
Swipe
our
right.
Trot Wham in the house. Now, Ant, Prince of the City, you came on the first day and gave 4 winning picks, and people parlayed it, and they were eaten. You have a play of the day right now? All right, here he comes. Our guy, Philly's own Ant, Prince of the City. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. All right, so I didn't get a chance to talk to Well Capper this morning, but I think I want to go back to the well again with Georgie. Yeah. She's playing Wang. Wang's going to be a seeded player at the Open, and she just came off of a 3-set match, which was like 3 hours almost. I think she might be looking ahead because she's going to be a seeded player. She'd have to play in the finals tomorrow. She's never been in a final in U.S. soil. She's only played finals in her home country. And I'm looking at the other matchup too, which would be Lynette versus Sinikova. Lynette's been playing much better. She's been on hard courts longer this year and has a much better record. Also, Sinikova already has her place in the U.S. Open, so I'm taking both dogs today.
And what are the lines on the dogs?
I think they're both around +110.
Sweet, and I know that you wanted to say something about that.
Yeah, I just wrote down right now I'm going to take Georgie plus 100, but I also really like the over in that game just because I think the delay is for Georgie pretty much now having the extended time off, and Wang. We were talking yesterday. Wang, I think, has more experience playing in the heat because of being an Asian player. They play more of the hotter matches in like Dubai and places like that. Georgi is playing a lot more in like a cooler temperature, and I think it's going to be humid, extremely humid today in New York. I really like the over. I think it's going to go 3 sets, but I really like Georgi as well.
Back in that.
It's hot in Italy.
Back in that. Well, Capper, what do you think here?
I think both of those are good looks.
Actually, Nets plus 130.
Wow.
Yeah. You can get put a little dog daily double there. You're gonna get what, like 4 or 5 to 1?
Yeah. I mean, don't even bet it big. I mean, like, everybody's looking ahead to the U.S. Open, but if you ever watch them play, Georgie is just always into every match. Like, she hates to lose a point.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. When does that go off?
The first match is at 1:05. That's Lynette and Sinakova. And then the second match is at 2:30. That's Wang and Georgie.
And then we still have Pair and Shapovalov from those matches are still yet to.
Yeah, from yesterday. I mean, you still have those guys who did the parlay. I don't know if they held it over, but you have Perrin, Busta, and Rublev and Shapovalov. They're going to be played around 1 o'clock. So if your book kept it open, sometimes they cancel it out. They'll be on the day.
Yeah, and Shapovalov has taken a bunch of money since the line originally opened.
That I gotta say though, that's fake news. The fact that he's gotten an extra day rest now because of the weather delay tips the match back in favor of Rublev, which is bummer because like I was really feeling Shapovalov yesterday, and then the fact that it got pushed over, a huge angle in that one was just basically fading Rublev in the fatigue angle.
I actually agree with him because also Shapovalov will be a seed at the Open.
Yeah.
Is he going to want to play a final tomorrow and then have to go to the Open the next day where he might have to play?
Well, the best look if you have that parlay is if Pair pulls it off, then just bet Rublev to cover your stake, and then you either won or you won your money back. Because we have Georgi tied to those two, which have already won. If Pair ends up winning this game before Rublev Shapovalov kicks off, take Rublev just to cover your stake on the parlay, and then it's an arbitrage.
Smart play.
I like it. I like it. Great stuff. There he is, Prince of the City, representing Philly in the house, right there.
The dog daily double pays 3.5 to 1 if you take the 2 lady dogs and pair them up there.
Man, nothing wrong with a lady dog. All right. This is okay. So now we have to ensure that we have time to hear our Skee Profit coming off a 4-0 day in WNBA. And I know that you're going to be hammering WNBA as well. And I do want you to touch on CFL football. But we got 3 games on this card, Skee. Dream, Liberty, Aces, Sun, Mystic, Sky. Are there any angles and spots jumping out at you?
I think I like maybe 1 on each game.
Beautiful.
So whichever game.
Oh, let's start with the. Let me go to full game here. Spreads and totals. Sportsbookreview.com. SBR odds page. Okay, let's go. Dream Liberty. Liberty opening up at -3 at -110. It hasn't moved. This total opened up at 155. And look at this. 5 times bookmakers still have 155.5. Oh, 5 times just moved it to 157. Pinnacle's already at 157.5. So these books that are behind, if you want to advantage bet right now, Intertop's 155.5. You wager 155.5. Bet 365 155.5. You would hammer that right now without even capping the game. But what's your look on this spot?
I would agree with it. The Dream, they went over 5 of their last 6 games, and the Liberty scored a lot of points. Their games average about 160.7. So I would agree with that move. Here, we talked about yesterday the Wings on the road. They've only won 1 game. The Dream have only won 1 game on the road. And an angle I like to back is backing bad teams off a win. And Liberty are in that spot today. I like them a lot more when they have Asia Durr. She's still out, but I mean they're 6-3 against the spread last 9 versus Atlanta. They're 4-8 straight up at home. I would back the home team off of a win. That's an angle I like to go with.
Yeah, and the numbers just a 3 for the Liberty. So you wager just moved it up to 157. So there's still a few books hanging at 155.5, and I'm gonna take it. 155 over 155.5 at -110. That's available at Intertops and Bet365. And if you can get it right now, then get it, because it's moving fast and it's moving up quickly. All right, I'm tailing. Great breakdown. Nice stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna take the liberty. Have you made that decision yet?
I'm gonna wait and see where the line goes. If I get 2.5, I for sure will take it. But I do want to take the over before it goes up. I'll take a little more time on the spread.
I like it. Okay, beautiful. Nice work. Dream Liberty. I'm on the full game over 155.5 -110. Aces, Sun. Big game. Big game. Opened as a pick'em, and the Sun started taking money. They're now -1.5 at home. This total opened up at 161. It's now at 161.5. Skee Profit. Aces, Sun.
Yeah, it's a great game. Two of the better teams in the league. The Sun, they haven't been covering, but they've been winning games. Great team at home, horrible team on the road. 13-1 straight up at home. They're 3-6 against the spread their last 9 games in general. Aces have been looking better since Aja Wilson came back. They're 5-1 straight up their last 6. I'm gonna have to go away from the spread in this one again and just think it's gonna be a fast-paced game. Aces have went over their last 5 games. As I said, they got Aja Wilson back. That's a lot of scoring. The over is 5-1 the last 6 between these two. Pace-wise, over the last 3 games, 1st and 6th, so it's top half of the league. Points in the paint, 1st and 4th, so it should be a lot of points in the paint. 3-point percentage, 3rd and 2nd. I just see a lot of points in this game. Connecticut, they play this tough game, then they play the Sparks next. I think they win one of the 2. I would have to lean on them winning this one here at home just because they're much better at home than on the road. And I like this game to go over.
While you're talking about it, Pinnacle shoots it up 1 point. While you're talking about it, from 161.5 to 162.5. Not only that, but Pinnacle's got it at over 162.5 at -109. So it went up a point, and it's still juiced to the over. And then 5 Dimes just moved it up a half point while we're speaking about it. Wow. I mean, this is just an advantage market. That's why I'm so happy we talked about it in the morning. I'm going to jump on this over with Skee right now, 161.5 right now. I see you're looking at some of these market moves as well, Whale Capper. What do you think of this spot?
No, all that jives. This is, this is. It sounds like you guys have a very solid read on WNBA right now. Very, very fired up for Skee hitting the 4-bagger yesterday. Well done, and play the hot hand here.
Heritage just moved it up a full point as well, but there's still 161s at -110 available at a bunch of books. And are you making a move on the side in this one?
No, I'm just gonna play the total in this game. I mean, it could go honestly either way. 2 great teams. If I have to pick one, it would be Connecticut at home.
And then we've had the opposite situation here in the Mystic Sky game. This total opened up very high, 20 points higher than the Dream Liberty game. Opened up at 175, and now it's going down, and it's going down fast. 173s are on the board, 173.5s at Pinnacle in the big markets, or in some of the big books. What do you think of this spot here? Wow, interesting. So Bookmaker just dropped their total to 161 in the Aces Sun game. So Bookmaker going the opposite direction of Pinnacle, which you very rarely see. Mystic Sky, Skee, what do you think here?
I think the Bookmaker one is going to go right back up. Watch. But
yeah, I'll keep an eye on it.
The Mystics and Sky, Sky have been great. 7-2 against the spread last 9, 9-3 straight up last 12. It's been a great over team. You want to back the over every single game, and that's why it's inflated. Mystics, they scored the most points in the league, so it's hard to look any way other than over. They went over 7 of their last 8 games, but I just can't bet the over at 174, 175. I just can't. I can't do that.
Yeah, that's what it's now at 173. But yeah, it opened very high.
And on the spread, Washington, they're 7-3 against the spread on the road. They're 5-0 against the spread their last 5 at Chicago. I don't see any way to look away from Washington. I think they continue to roll. They win games on average by 11.5 points. Chicago's been playing great, but I think this is a spot Washington continues to roll. If I'm playing this game, it will be on the spread, Washington -5.5.
Washington -5.5, and that line staying where it's at. I think that's a very interesting look. Mac, you've been looking at these games. What do you think of those? And do you have any different angles?
Yeah, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with pretty much everything that was just said. I'm on almost every single opposite side.
Jesus.
With Connecticut 16-11 to the under. They're only 11 and 13 ATS as favorites. If you faded Connecticut all season, you've got 15 and 12 ATS. Las Vegas 7-4-1 to the under on the road, 14-12-1 overall to the under. If you faded Vegas on the road, 7-5 ATS, 16-11 ATS fading Las Vegas. I feel like that 161 is 161.5 is a little high. I think it's going to be a close game. I like Connecticut -2, and I like the under 161.5. I just think it's going to be a close game, and I feel like I've been riding Vegas on the unders all season, and I'm just going to stick to what works for me. As for the other games, the Liberty are, if you faded the Liberty, 16-10-1 so far. And they're 0-3 ATS as favorites. Atlanta 14-12-1 to the under. I really like the under at 155.5. And I just because I lean Atlanta, I'm gonna pull the under plus the dog teaser. I don't have that in front of me right now, but it'll be similar to the play that I made yesterday with the over and the favorite. And then I'm gonna go against. The Mystics here. Chicago 17-9-1 ATS, 11-5-1 ATS as dogs. They're 16-10-1 to the over. Washington is also 16-10 to the over. I like Chicago plus 5.5 and the over 173.5 in this one, which is very odd because it's pretty much exactly against you on every play.
Well, I'm not taking the under in the last game. And just one thing I will say. Touched on against the spread for Connecticut, but this game they're just pretty much asking them to win, and they're 13-1 straight up.
Yeah.
And you're going up against a guy who went 4-0 yesterday.
Another thing though, well, I went 5-1. A thing that I've just been riding blindly. Give me a home dog ATS every single time in the WNBA, 36-23-1 so far.
Yeah, and you told that on our show.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
you must want to look for the home teams and home dogs. So yeah. I agree with that.
And then Al, we have somebody who has jumped in the play of the day chair, and every time we get to hear this man speaking to a mic, we fucking absolutely eat the shit up. So without further ado, please welcome to the show DJ Big Boss.
What up, dog? Hey, I'm gonna play Jimmy. Just had to come talk to my low baggers, man. What's up, y'all? It's Miami. Not on the panel today. I had to come see y'all say what's up. But I got a nice little point. I can't top Comic Ricky. For like 3 days, I've been trying to figure out how to top Comic Ricky's poem, man. It was so awesome, man. But I can't do it. So I came up with like a little poem or slogan of my own right here, okay? Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, man.
It's not my top hits, but you know, just a little sentiment for all of our low baggers out there that couldn't make it here to Miami. So, here we go. Low baggers win, low baggers lose. United, we make all bookies lose. We invite you to fade us, the trail is too. And to all our haters, fuck you.
Hey.
That's it. Bravo.
That's impressive. That's
Oh, that's it. Oh, that was nice, man. That was nice. There's our guy DJ Big Boss and Lucrative Larry. Lucrative Larry has a play of the day. You want to hit the play of the day chair for us, Lucrative? Please welcome to the show, Lucrative Larry.
Hello, my guys. I'm sorry, man.
It's in the mail.
It's in the mail. Thank you, man. African handball, women. What's so funny about that? Jesus Christ. Nigeria plus 13 over Congo, minus 125 at Bovada.
What do you think of this, Freddie? You pissed off, man? He's trying to steal your thunder. I thought you were our African handball expert.
No, we're trying to
solve our differences.
Oh, through African handball.
Yeah.
African
I don't know
handball.
if I told you, but he was the one who got me the visa to come here. He works at the embassy part-time. Yeah, at night. Yeah.
Security guards.
Oh, nice. That's it's riveting. Larry, and Freddie have come together through African
Finally.
handball. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
It's finally happened.
It's
Let's
so
give it a
beautiful.
round of applause for love. Amongst friends, amongst peers.
Yeah.
And to all our haters.
There he is. There he is. Okay, we got to put a bow on this bad boy. But Al, I wanted to hear your take on this Bombers Eskimos game. Eskimos opened up -3, and then the money just came rolling in on them, and it has to do with clearly the injury to the Bombers starting quarterback and Strebler being in. I mean, even with Nichols, this Bombers offense was just game management. It was really conservative and letting their special teams take care of business. And when I cashed that first half on the Bombers, it was a fluke. It was just because of those 2 punt return for touchdowns. The Bombers offense looks very pedestrian. When we thought that Matthews was going to be the 6'5" beast coming back to the CFL, we thought he was just going to be a monster for these Bombers. He's done very little, and Eskimos are taking money. And the guy who backed the Eskimos from the very beginning is our Babano, who took them to win the Grey Cup, and he got him, I think, at like 12-1 or something like that. Is that right, Babano?
That was a really good price. Obviously, you can't get that now, but Winnipeg and Hamilton was my Grey Cup pick before the season started. And I still feel confident both teams can get there. I really do, even with now Nichols injured for Winnipeg, obviously Masoli out for the season for the Ticats, that they can still get there because both of them play great defense. Both of them have good special teams. And their quarterbacks, I think, they're not going to be, lost at sea without an oar, with the 2 quarterbacks they've got running their teams right now. So I think they can still get it done.
Well, I would love to hear your take on this game, but I'd like it if we could, unless you want to jump in on a move right now, we'll save it for the late show. Let's hear our guy Al Mack break down this Bombers Eskimos. What's your angle? What's your move?
Yeah, it's the classic CFL. Every single week, I have to downgrade the top team on my power rating. And Edmonton, I downgraded about 1.5 points from last week. Winnipeg, I've downgraded now a full 1.5 points as well. I downgraded them 3/4 of a point, but now I'm adding another 0.5 point because Nichols is out. I feel like this line is probably not where it should be, in my opinion, but I'm not going to back Winnipeg. If anything, I'm going to take Edmonton maybe on a parlay with Saskatchewan. I think Saskatchewan probably crushes Ottawa later in the week. So I'm going to go Edmonton, Saskatchewan parlay. And -135. I feel like this should be probably about a 4 3/4 line, and it's at 5.5. So I'm scared away by that. But like I said, the thing about it is the home teams so far 24-14 plus 7.22 units. But the dogs 20-17 ATS, and then dog money lines the exact opposite of the home teams 14-24 plus 5.56 units. A lot of that has to do with the Argos winning that big 7-1 money line game a few weeks ago. But still, I just think this line, it's carried a little too far. So if anything, I'm going Edmonton, Saskatchewan parlay. And then if Edmonton hits, don't hedge. Saskatchewan's going to crush them. So that's my play on today's card for CFL.
I like it. That parlay makes a lot of sense. And then we'll hear Babano's breakdown. Noli Noah saying, looking at the under, what do you think of this total, Al?
Well, I've just been blindly betting unders when I haven't been able to cap a total out of this. I just haven't gotten to. I haven't really fully capped the totals on this. I just 88, 78, and 1 last year to the unders. So far this year, 21-18. I just see a classic CFL game. I've said it 100 times on this show. I see a classic CFL game. It'll probably end by 3 to 4 points. So I don't like the spread on Edmonton, and I'm still not too certain on the under. I'll be in the play of the day chair with a extended CFL look later on today.
Beautiful. And the fight analyst saying, guys, take Cole Jordan at -115 for Combat Americas. Yes, Ty Clinton, we are going to be going over NFL. There also is a live audible here at 4 p.m. Eastern time, a live audible. Okay, let's quickly run through what our card looks like at this point. What does our card look like at this point? And if you have a play of the day at the end of what your card's looking like, let it out. And let's start with Skee Profit.
Okay, I'll say I haven't made the baseball plays yet, but I'm looking at the Cubs and the under, as I said, and I had a look on the Dodgers, and I think that was it for MLB. On WNBA, I did lock in Atlanta and Liberty over, I think it was 155.5, and I got Vegas and Connecticut over 161.5. Those are my 2 plays locked in so far. And play of the day?
Yeah.
Play of the day, if I pick one, will be Vegas and Connecticut over 161.5.
Vegas, Connecticut over 161.5 for Skee Profit's play of the day. Drew Martin.
I got one play locked and loaded, and of course, going to be involved in some form or fashion in the Philadelphia-Miami game. Just haven't decided yet. Somebody's got to talk me one way or the other. But I am on the Dodgers, minus 137. Just taking advantage of the Yankees on this West Coast trip, not looking good. Ride the hot, fade the cold. So like the Dodgers, minus 137. Not going to be on the afternoon show today. Got the afternoon off. Next show tomorrow morning, really excited about it. College football closing line. Ian Cameron, DJ Big Boss, Big Ragu, and myself breaking down week 0 college football. So come join us. Usually 11 a.m. Eastern on the SBR YouTube channel. Tomorrow we're doing it a half hour earlier, 10:30 a.m. Come join us.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'll be definitely in the audience watching that show. I'm on the Astros first 5 team total over 2.5 at minus 147. That was a tale of our very own Trotwam. I'm on the Diamondbacks first 5 at plus 128. And from a WNBA perspective, I jumped on the 2 overs that our guy Skee Profit broke down. So I'm on the Atlanta, New York over 155.5 at minus 110. The Aces Sun over 161.5 at minus 110. And I do not have a play of the day yet. I'm gonna hold off. I've got a nice record on them, and I don't want to just hammer them out on the morning show out of fear. But I do think if I made one right now, it would be the Diamondbacks first 5. Mac, what's your card look like?
I got a pretty big card today. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, first 5 over 5, minus 110. I'm just looking right now. The Dodgers first 5 money line. I don't have a line on that yet.
I can give it to you though. Yeah.
Oh, it's right there actually in front of my face. Minus 150 on the first 5 Dodgers money line. And then Philadelphia, Miami, let's just go over 9. No real reason for that except for that we're going to the game.
That's enough of a reason.
And then WNBA, Connecticut, Las Vegas under 161.5, minus 110. Connecticut minus 2, minus 110. Atlanta plus 3, minus 110. Under 155.5. And then also I'm going to do the once the alternative lines come out, I'm going to do the under and plus the dog teaser in that game. And then Chicago plus 5.5, minus 110. And then the over in that game, over 173.5. And then also in the CFL, Edmonton plus Saskatchewan parlay minus 135, and then Georgi plus 100 over 21.5 games at minus 125. And then one more thing, MLS parlay, TFC, they need to beat Montreal if they're going to stay in the playoff picture tomorrow. Add that with LAFC that plays against the LA Galaxy, my 2 teams, on Sunday. So parlay that, TFC plus LAFC parlay plus 138.
Nice. I like it. Great job, Al. We're so thankful to have you guys on the show, man. I'm just loving it. Whale Capper, the author of the Garrett Cole strikeout prop that cashed so easily, and it was so easily. What a great look. What's on your card?
So in the early game, I'm going back to the well. No runs scored in the first inning in the Cubs Nationals game. So hoping for a slow start there and a little bit of help from the wind and starting pitching. Play of the day in the MLB for me, Diamondbacks money line full game. And you look at this team, 500 right now. Since they have 34 games left, I think this team finishes the season somewhere 5-6 games over 500. So they're going to have a number of spots where you can get value on them between here and when we wrap this thing. And tonight presents one of those occasions.
It's a great look. Great to hear that ahead of the market. I love it. And there he is.
So crazy story, tennis wise. I've probably handicapped like maybe 3,000 tennis matches over the last 3 years. Bet a lot of them. I've never seen this before, where 2 players both quit during the same match. We talked about how weird things get the week before a slam. This is like case in point. Like there's a match in Winston-Salem yesterday that was Benoit Paire versus Pablo Carreño Busta, and they got delayed because of the lightning storm, and they were going to resume today, but apparently not.
just
Both
moved
guys
on.
quit. So
What? I've never seen it
I've never
before.
seen it before.
It
Yeah.
came up when I just sent to him. It came up on my screen. It's abandoned. I've never heard
Abandoned,
that
yeah.
before.
So if
I've
you
heard
had,
retired.
if you had the prop match will be abandoned, yes, at plus 10,000. Congratulations, that was a great.
So how's that thing go down? Screw this. We're out of here. You know, we got better things to do.
I guess what happens is the winner of the other quarterfinal gets a free pass to the final. So basically, you know, their quarterfinal opponents just is now a semifinal.
Wow.
Bet365 is claiming that this event is still occurring though. Like
It's dead.
so they both quit. So the semifinal, the two players, the winner of the match that they would have played, now both advanced to the next round, right?
So basically, this is the quarterfinals. The other quarterfinalists that would have played the winner of this match in the semifinals gets a free pass.
Oh, wow.
So this is like two wins worth this next.
Wild
Stuff. US
Wild.
Open next week, much better tennis.
And what shows can we find you on for the U.S. Open?
Doing one today with our odds market family, talking about futures and outright market for the U.S. Open. That's going to be this afternoon in a couple hours. So
fired up for this. Sweet. That sounds great. Parlay Papi, what's your card look like?
Well, we can't all be on the Diamondbacks as our play of the day. So I think we're going to go to my nemesis, Mr. Vince Velasquez, to deal a gem to these Miami Marlins that he has dealt so well in the past. Team total under 1.5 at plus 115. We're also going to be live tweeting lots of silly plays on this Marlins game, in-game betting, binge drinking betting, and you can bet some winners there, my guys.
I like it. There he is, Parlay Papi. Babana, what's your card look like? What's your favorite play?
We'll go Reds Pirates over as the favorite play of the day. We also like Philly Miami over 5, first 5. We like let me see, Minnesota team total over. I'm going to add that. Houston team total over 5.5. I like that. We didn't talk Blue Jays Mariners. There's another game I think we might see some runs in it. I like the Dodgers minus 140. Boston San Diego over. We'll get to CFL and NFL on the Late Show.
Beautiful stuff. And man, so for Skee Profit and Drew Martin and Al Mac and Whale Capper and Parlay Papi, you guys are going to be on the Late Show with me, and I've just been so thankful and honored to work with you guys. Thank you for all the energy and hard work and insights and just being such a big part of the Low Bag family. It just means the absolute world to me. So thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for hammering this. And Babana will be on the Late Show with me. So all that is left, thank you to all you guys in the audience putting all your energy in the show and into this week. It just means so much to me. We need you guys to go in the 50K contest, 50K. Pick 6 contest, please. Hit the link at the bottom. Also, we're giving out 3 SBR Pro memberships to most valuable audience members, and we're giving out the NFL Game Pass. It's that link tweet on SBR Sports Picks. You grab that tweet, and all you have to let us know is which sportsbook do you think should be in the top 7 that's not there. That's all you have to do on that tweet, and then you are eligible for an NFL Game Pass, and all that's left is Skee Profit to give us a leche and send us into the afternoon.
All right. I'm going to keep it simple. Away from the mouth. And we've all been having a great week. So let's do it again. Leche. Hey, los bookmakers.
What up, tappers? Gamblers. Punters. It's going off! What up, mama?